This is my favorite character in Jujutsu Kaisen right now. I'm sorry. Remember how I teased an Maki analysis at the end of Nobara's video? This guy here is known for speaking his favorite onigiri ingredients. Well, turns out it's actually really hard to analyze a character based on just that.
鮭塩むすび
Ooh, that poor guy. So instead, I'm gonna analyze a character that I think is so well written and has such a fantastic character arc that you know she's one of Akutami's absolute favorites. You see, what makes Maki so fun is that she was treated like a dreadful case of bad breath by her family, but rather than begging for acknowledgement or affection, Maki has decided to tear the whole abusive Zenin family to the ground. Of course, this video will also be about Mai, because as you will see, both of them are basically one character split into two. There is a ton of symbolism around the concept of twins here after all, and the story behind Maki and Mai is as tragic as it is heartbreaking. And so it's no big surprise that it is her sister who is Maki's biggest flaw and weakness as a character. At the same time, however, she also has emerged from her past as incredibly strong and fierce. I've already focused heavily on female writing in Nobara's video, so I'll not force the point again here. But it absolutely goes without saying that Maki is exceptionally well written for shonen standards, and I think in contrary to the beliefs of at least some people in the industry, having self-confident badasses like Kugisaki and Maki makes everyone enjoy this story a lot more. Because as the manga readers will know, Maki is here to stay, and her character only gets better and better. This is the story of Zenin Maki.
Maki? あんなんただの雑魚よ。前のバカ。この人めちゃくちゃ強い。
It's Maki's self-confident and indifferent attitude, as well as her power in physical combat, that make it really easy to like her. As a matter of fact, she represents a lot of the most common shonen tropes that we like to see in our heroes. A tragic past, power in combat, a seemingly unattainable goal they want to reach, an iron determination to fight for that goal, as well as the ability to stick through the toughest moments.
You fight with the strength of many men, Sir Knight.
We see her fiercely and fearlessly wielding a whole arsenal of cursed weapons, no matter how strong the opponent she's facing. And so I think Maki is so extremely likable because she basically has all the characteristics that our usual shonen hero has, only as a badass girl and supporting character.
正直呪術云々はまだよくわかんねえけど
To put this into perspective, she doesn't share any of the external struggles and vulnerabilities that make Itadori so special, and thus make it extremely easy to latch onto her, something we for example see someone like Nobara do. This is someone that stands up against the men who have suppressed her entire life and fights for becoming a powerful woman that can lead the clan herself. Basically, her dream is showing everyone that looked down on her one big middle finger.
私が大物術師になってみろ。家の連中、どんな面すっかな。
So it's very easy to see what makes her so extremely cool to watch and follow. Other than Megumi, who internalizes the pain caused by his family situation, Maki displays her emotional damage openly to the world.
Zenin senpai.
And yet, I believe that the reasons Maki stands out as a character, as with any great character, are the underlying flaws, unseen symbols, and steady character progressions that happen beneath her straightforward feeling surface. And Gege Akutami sure went full out when crafting her character.
どうしたんだよ。早くしろよ。やだ。なんだよ。
Maki and Mai were born as twin sisters to the powerful Zenin clan, the most powerful family in the Jujutsu world, if it weren't for this guy right here, who basically carries the Gojo family on his own. And as a result, Maki's and Mai's story isn't only dramatic and sad in one way, but rather Akutami has piled a whole mountain of dramatic layers on top of both of them that weighs down heavily on their lives. You know, just as American Breakfast does. First of all, there is the fact that the Jujutsu world operates based on very traditional and conservative Japanese rules. Born into a powerful family, you're expected to always put the clan's interests first. You have to be strong and flawless, serve your elders, and bring no shame onto the family name. In other words, there is no room for personal feelings and ambitions. On top of this, big surprise, in this conservative, combat-oriented, and patriarchal family structure, being born as a girl puts you on a harsh disadvantage right from the start. You neither have the same social standing nor the same base physical strength of the male family members, and so every woman has to work at least twice as hard to be recognized as a full-fledged sorcerer.
女の呪術師が求められるのは実力じゃないの。完璧なの。
Then there is the fact that Maki and Mai are twins, which for a long time were seen as a sign of misfortune in Japan. I even found this very interesting study that details different types of food that pregnant Japanese women were supposed to avoid to not bear twins, such as twin chestnuts, double-section tangerines, or double eggplants. Thus, being born a twin automatically made you less worthy of love and trust. But as if all of this weren't enough already, Maki and Mai actually also have to deal with real physical consequences of being twins as well. Their cursed powers basically treated them as one person as well, so that Mai ended up with a uniquely strong cursed ability but no combat skills whatsoever, while Maki is one of the physically most gifted characters in the story, but without so much as an ounce of cursed energy, which in the largest family of Jujutsu sorcerers basically made her the worst among the worst. As a result, both Maki and Mai grew up as outcasts of the same family, which left them with nothing but each other to really hold on to emotionally.
お姉ちゃん、手離さないでよ。絶対置いてかないでよ。当たり前だ。
Long story short, Maki and Mai basically both share the same fate of growing up abused and neglected by a family that only cares about power. And yet both of them deal with it in very different ways. And while the story introduces us to Maki as the mature, tough, and straightforward twin, Mai is presented as hateful, evil, and childish. And yet, this perception is purposefully misleading. As you might remember from my analysis of Nobara, as we learned throughout their flashback, in the relationship of the twins, Maki is actually the more hurtful one. Her big desire in life is paying back those who abused her and her sister, who she always used to protect as a child. And yet, in the process of struggling to get stronger, she forgets about her sister completely, focusing fully on her goal. Mai, on the other hand, never wanted to become a sorcerer in the first place. She never had Maki's mental strength for that. All she wanted was having her big sister by her side, the only family she ever had. And yet, through Maki's struggle for power, she herself had no other choice but also become a sorcerer or be left alone at the bottom of the clan. In addition, probably in an effort to protect Mai from the consequences of going against the Zenin clan, Maki severs her ties with her sister completely. However, this hurts Mai even more. And while she can finally find comrades at the Kyoto school, she never had Maki's conviction, power, or drive. As a result, we hear Mai echoing a lot of the opinions and behaviors of the people around her, as she doesn't have the confidence to form her own opinions and forge her own path. Basically, she's just letting herself be pulled along by the stream of events around her. And the only way she now sees to get her sister's attention is by taunting her or those around her, the place where she actually wants to be. The point here is that very much in the spirit of being twins, Maki and Mai are one person split into two. Both dealing with their abusive family in their own way, and yet at the same time, both being a side of the same coin. Mai is insecure, weak-willed, averse to fighting, emotional, but also has an extremely powerful ability that allows her to create matter from nothing. And even though she actually forms friendships really fast, her whole life is determined by her relationship with her sister. Her fault as a character then, fault from a writing perspective of course, is relying on Maki and making her responsible for her own feelings and events in her life. Mai's arc then is about finding her own determination to fight back against the abuse and oppression by her family and the Jujutsu world, side by side with her sister. Maki, on the other hand, is strong, a fighter, and just like Gojo, thinks everything can be done and solved by strength alone. And while strength surely is important in the Jujutsu world, Maki has internalized a very unhealthy view of strength, not showing any weakness. As a result, Maki blocks out her own emotions and insecurities completely, focusing mostly on herself. Similar to Gojo, she acknowledges the value of having strong companions and being able to fight together, but in the end, her philosophy is this. It's not that Maki is a hateful person, it's that she's conditioned not to accept any kind of love because she was never shown the unconditional love of a family that she was owed. She's so busy trying to reject everything that the Zenin clan stands for that she can't really accept other people's feelings at all, positive or negative. She's too busy thinking about herself, protecting herself, trying not to hate herself. And so she can't receive Mai's feelings. Again, I think it's really easy to draw a parallel to Megumi here, who's not even blood related to his sister, but does everything he can for his only real family member, desperately wanting to talk to her. Maki, on the other hand, who has the chance to talk to her own twin sister and only real family in this world whenever she wants, doesn't. Her having to wear glasses because she otherwise is blind to curses is really symbolic here, because these glasses also represent her inability to see other people for who they are. I think if you watched my Gojo video, you will recognize a pattern here. As a result, Maki's character arc is all about understanding that strength isn't always the answer and that forming real relationships with others, especially her own sister, is an essential part of living a good life. And this also includes acknowledging and accepting her sister's feelings and wishes into her heart. And while her justified hatred toward her family is a powerful drive for her growth as a sorcerer, at some point after dealing with the Zenin clan, she will need a more healthy goal in life that is not defined by violence and hate, but that actually will do good in the world, or sink into deeper darkness, as members of the Zenin family sometimes tend to do. One thing, however, is for certain. Maki already being as strong as she is, with Mai by her side once again becoming one whole, she will be a force to be reckoned with within the Jujutsu world, and no one should underestimate her power and role in the story. Oh yeah, sorry, coming up next, Pure Evil, why Mahito is creeping you the f*** out. Go watch it here or any of these other videos. Thanks for watching. Peace.
𝚑𝚒𝚘𝚊